transition between 2010 and 2011, our phone began ringing off the hook from companies saying, okay, we acknowledge that social media is here to stay. But what does it mean for our organizations? How can we handle the messaging? And I said, first of all, what you need to do as a company is provide media that the distributors can use to explain the comp plan, to explain the products, to explain all the compliant-based things. And what you need to do is teach the power of social networking, which we call crowdsourcing, for leaders. And my program, Leaders Online, is going to be coming out at the middle of April. So what I believe is social media is one person can connect with the world, and the world can connect with one person. I just finished a 30-city tour all around the world with my partner, Kenton Worthington. And we had the time of our life. But the great thing about this is a leader can connect with the world. Imagine leaders from the past. They'd fly into your city. They'd get 1,000 people in a room. They'd get everybody all excited, get a bunch of people signed up, and they'd say, I'll be back in 19 weeks, or I'll be back in 6 weeks, or I'll be back next year. With Facebook, and that's what I primarily like to work off, you can have a leader can have time management or group communications or event schedules or daily travels or happening events or testimonials or daily videos or photos from the trip or training tips or competitions. We did this as we traveled all around the world, and the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, in the case of Kenton Worthington, the hundreds of thousands of people that followed us, were able to see what we're doing every day, every meeting, the groups we were with, every meal, everywhere we went around the world, and they felt connected, or at least they felt like they went on the journey. If for any reason they needed to connect, they could connect by just saying, hey, I need a quick phone call from you. I've got a huge fish that wants to jump on board. I got a great new recruit. I got a whale jumping in my boat. I got an issue in the business I need your help with. And so by having these social communications, you can manage a very large organization every single day while getting your life back. And I think this is so important for leaders. So what we do in our pod training is we train the leaders and the top field leaders and the company owners about how to do this. And what we do is we teach it in these pod trainings. And then what we want is the top field leaders that go through the course then to train the people in their organization. But what I say social media is for distributors, it's 15 minutes a day and not more. It's either posting a video or a photo, making 10 comments on your upline or your downline, and going to your homepage wall and commenting on current events that are happening on your wall. And I believe it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes a day. So many top field leaders that are traditional networkers are so afraid that this information is going to get people to stop being networkers and stop going to events and stop doing three-way calls. But the truth is, don't stop doing anything that has always worked. And the key to that is if communications got better, faster, cheaper, would you do it? It's a question you have to ask yourself. But I say if you can do something that's 15 minutes a day that can exponentially grow your business, would you do it? And that's what this program really we want to share with people. Social marketing can amplify your live events, your distributor programs, product launches, conference calls, team trainings, video programs, sales programs, marketing programs, back office education. We just did with a company recently, we played a game, and we said online, here's a question called the Stupidest Question Wins. And someone asked, I don't know how to put my first person in the deal. I've been to trainings, I've been to motivations, I've been to all these different things, but I don't even know how to open my back office. So we played a game. A was one answer, B was one answer, and C was one answer. Well, B was the right answer. The funny thing was 67% of the people playing the social media game picked A, 22% of the people picked B, which ironically was the right answer, and 11% of the people picked C, which the answer to C was, I don't even know the answer. So by sharing with people, by asking questions to your organization, by having people contribute and participate in this game, we determined that 87% of the people in this organization didn't even know how to inject their first person in their back office. Now, the funny thing was you'd say to yourself, was that a stupid question that person asked? Or did that question increase the sales of that organization 87%? So to me, being able to crowdsource for the solution and really look at the organization to see if people have the right information, to see if training has worked, to see if people need help and how they need help and what they need help on, because we can ask questions. Today, empowerment comes by asking questions. And I say that because field leadership organizations have always had all the answers, and people in the industry have had all the answers, and everybody's had all the answers. Well, look where we've ended up today. We've ended up with everybody needing a pretty good plan B, and a lot of us are starting over and reinventing ourselves, really need a plan A. So there's going to be a lot of questions in this next decade. In this next decade, the question to me is going to be the answer, and the question is going to be empowerment. And if we can look to crowdsourcing for the solution through social media in our team and in our organizations, we're going to largely be able to grow organizations, because me as a marketeer, I want to know what's wrong. I'm a problem solver. If I can find the 10 things wrong with my organization today, I can grow my business faster than just trying to have all the right answers and blowing over the issues that people have in my organization. So if everybody's starting to get the power of this, type in yes, you can hear me, or type in Y, capital Y. I'm going to go on to this next slide. What I think, people ask, what is it about social media, Bill, that really works? Why is it going to be so strong in the industry? Well, the real key of it to me is sort of this graph I've created here. Tribe branding. There's always a power in circle group influence. There's always a power in numbers. Animals always hunt in packs. And the power of what this is the power of social media. Imagine you have 100 people in your organization. Many of the people I work with have hundreds of thousands of people in their organization. As a matter of fact, one guy I work with directly as a direct report, he has 600,000 people in his organization in 51 countries. So do you imagine that the value of tribe branding, of having 600,000 people in your organization, could be powerful? Well, if you had 600,000 people and they all posted a comment about an event next week, and you touch every one of the people on their Facebook page and everyone on their Facebook page, you could literally touch 100 million people easily. But the value is based on the value of you, your integrity, based on the value of you and your organization, and based on the value of your model of this business. If you love what you do, you never work another day in your life, and you got to be proud of the company you're with. You got to be strong because it's your company name. So value is such an important and succinct value. Number 2, tribe. The value of tribe and the circle group edification. If you have a 3-way call and you say, George, my dear friend, and I've been friends for years, by edifying George, and George edifying Bill, and Bill edifying Ted, and Ted edifying Nancy, we have this tribe value going on. But what happens if you have hundreds of people in your group? And you can create groups online on Facebook for your organization. And you can create groups in your circle group influence. And you can have team events. And people on all your Facebook channels can see you at great events, can see you at happening trainings. They can see you doing neat things and helping people on your group. So the power of tribe is being able to share the message. Well, we can all share the message on Facebook. There's 700 million people on Facebook. If it were a country, it'd be the 3rd largest country in the world. So the power of tribe in your own organization or in your own country or in your own industry is so important. But number 3 is social proof. If I were to do investigation, they say it takes 7 exposures to get someone in your business. If I were to go in there and say, these 7 exposures, the first meeting I'm going to have with the person, they're going to want to get to know me. And the second, they're going to go type into Google the company name. Well, they're going to come back and say, there was some questionable information about this, that, and the other. I can say, well, I can do that, but what I want you to do is come to one of our events. And I want you to meet a couple thousand of my closest friends. Or join me online on Facebook and see the comments every day and see the events we go to and meet some of the people online. Come to some of our webinars. We have a general's call every morning where you can meet people. We have events every month. You can meet our people online. You can meet them at events. You can meet them on conference calls. We can meet down the street. We can meet on a 3-way call. The social proof that you can visually see today with social media, to me, is as good or better than anything you have today, particularly from a time management standpoint and from a cost perspective. With the cost of gas, even driving across town, I drove across town in a monster truck last week in Salt Lake, and I used 10 gallons just going from Salt Lake to Provo. So, I mean, even the cost of driving across town. So this is a very economical way to do social proof. Number 4, the fourth issue is influence. The influence of people and having the influence of your circle group volume, of your circle group edification, of your circle group of people on your team is so powerful. But the interesting thing about social media is it goes right back to tribe, so the whole thing continues to cycle. And I think this is such a powerful thing. And when you understand the value of these 4 steps in social media, social networking for network marketers, it's such a powerful tool. So to me, what's so important in the customer retention model, I've been advising a company in the network marketing industry in the last couple of years, the fastest growing MLM company in the history of multi-level marketing. They were able to recruit 2.4 million people in their deal in 3.5 years. Now, the ironic statistic was they lost 2.2 million of the same people in the same increment of time in 3.5 years. So many times, the multi-level marketing company doesn't do marketing, and if the network marketer does marketing, they get thrown out of their deal. So who's in the middle? Who's handling the customer? So what I say the company needs to do is have content that helps a distributor through edification online, so that when a distributor or a potential recruit types in the name of the company to Google, they can get good information, not misinformation. And today, largely, most of the information, if you type in the company name, is some kind of pirate of the Caribbean doing a redirect into another deal. I used to be in this company, now I'm in this deal. That's because the companies haven't capitalized on their name. Well, the way we as distributors in the field can capitalize on that is do the personal branding on social media. Everybody today is reinventing themselves, and if we can help them learn, the new recruits, what takes 3% of their effort to get 100% return, you're going to get a customer for life. If you can let them know that what they bring to the team is so important, and I say that because my book on social media called The Belongings Network, that, by the way, I'll offer to anyone on the phone, you can download at billgans.com for free. I chose the name Belongings Network because in the 6 basic human needs, belonging is comprised by 2 components: contribution equaling significance. If you can help a new recruit feel like their contribution will make a significance to them both personally and professionally, you're going to close that recruit. They're going to join your deal 9 times out of 10. So when people talk about what's the conversion ratio, online or offline, I say, did you help them determine what their skill was in the company? And I say the reason why you do this is the one piece of information, if you take away tonight, when you're recruiting people, understand the distinction between interesting and interested. If you're solely interested in that person, in helping that person, in determining what that person's strength is, what that person brings to the table, what their power, what takes 3% of their effort to get 100% return, you can help them learn what they love. So often in network marketing, companies will say, you have to do things you don't like, you aren't going to be very good at, and you have to do them anyways. And I ask myself every time, do you want that person to go out and recruit people saying that to their friends? Hey, Bob, I want you to come join my deal. I don't like what I do, I'm not very good at it, and I have to do it anyways, and you do too. So what we need to do is switch this up, because we can go recruit people online at Facebook just by like-mindedness. Let's say you're a fisherman. Type in fishing groups in your own city. I did this in Salt Lake last week. Groups in Salt Lake City that like fishing. There's about 150 groups. Well, click on one of the groups and talk to the group leader. Say, hey, when do you guys have events? Well, they say, well, we go up to the mountains, in the Wasatch Mountains here every week, and we have fishing groups. Oh, I'd like to come along. There's 150 people in this fishing group. And what we need to do is we need to use social media for customer retention. Yes, you can use it for customer acquisition, and everybody wants to call it lead generation. And I just told you one out of the thousands of tips that I teach in my curriculum in my new 4-DVD collection coming out mid of April. If you want to click here, Ted Henry from the Network Marketing Magazine is going to have a link at the end of this. If you'd like more information, we're going to email you. But there's so many different ways for customer acquisition, i.e. lead generation,